Welcome back, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. I have another video here for us. This one's from Walter's World. I love Walter's World. I always thought he's done a great job with them. This one is Weird Ways Europe Messes Up American Bodies. I'm very curious to what this is going to be. Is it going to be referring to the food? I'm assuming so. Is it going to be referring to like jet lag? It's just maybe the way that the air is. I don't know. I'm very curious to get into it. I'm very curious to see what we're working with here. Oops, hit the wrong button. What we're working with here. So I hope you're excited for it. I'm excited for it. It's about a 10-minute video, 10 minutes and 15-second video. So we're going to hop into it. Don't want to do a whole lot of chit-chat beforehand. So yeah, Weird Ways Europe Messes Up American Bodies. I love Walter's World. He's so good.
Hey there.
And this is Europe, not specifying any countries. I want to specify that. This dude's been obviously all over the place, so he's talking about Europe in general.
Fellow American travelers, Mark here with Walter's World. Today we're here in Genoa, Italy, and today I want to talk about is something serious for my American travelers, and that is how your body is going to react mentally and physically to visiting Europe. Because you know what? There's things that change when you go travel. There's things you notice, things that wear you down or hype you up when you go. And I think it's important for you to have an idea of some of the things that might affect you here, and way down below when you come to Europe. And I'm going to start with the things about that happen to you down below, and that is be ready for different bowel movements. Yes, after a lifetime of eating ultra-processed food and fast food in America, when you come to Europe, we have significantly more, less refined food, more whole foods out there, less GMOs. I mean, just look at the ingredients list on your favorite food at home and then compare it to here when you find it.
See, that's kind of where I thought he was going at. Going with this right off the bat would be how your digestive system works with it, because obviously we here in America we like our processed terrible for you food, and I just know how my body's reacted over the last year and a half since I decided to stop eating most of that garbage and try to watch what I'm eating healthier products. So I can only imagine what the going over there and instantly getting hit with it would be like.
Your body processes things differently, so be ready for a slight difference in the consistency of your movements and also the frequency of your movements. So be ready for that, because that's one of the things people don't realize is when you change what you're eating, the water you have and stuff, it can have an impact. So maybe you do carry some Pepto with you or some.
I don't know what he's eating right there, but it looks fantastic. I'm just going to this looks a little different, but that piece right before looked fantastic.
Sodium just in case. Because sometimes it's not a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing. Like the way the gluten is or the sulfites with the wine or lack of sulfites in the wine actually make you feel better instead of worse. So do be aware of that. But I will tell you, sometimes you might go from logs to toothpaste and not even realize it, okay? Now, another thing I think Americans need to realize, this is one a lot of them complain about when they think of the physical pain I have when I go to Europe, are your hurt feet. Yes, your feet do hurt when you're here. I mean, think about it. You're maybe walking 2,000 steps a day when you're at home, or 5,000 steps a day when you're at work, or maybe you walk the dog, eat to 8,000 steps a day. Now you're walking 10 hours a day, 20,000 steps, 10 miles, 16 kilometers, whatever. And you're not used to that. And so your feet ache, your legs ache, you get shin splints, you sprain your ankle. These kind of things do happen. That's why it's really important to help alleviate that.
I
Make sure before you go to Europe, you're doing long walks. You're getting used to being outside and walking a lot. I know Europeans are like, oh, Walters is telling them to train how to walk. Americans don't know how to walk. Yes, we know how to walk. We just don't walk like you do in Europe with uneven pavements and all kinds of stuff. So we're trying to get you ready so you don't have those painful feet. I want to tell you, one of the biggest mistakes people make is they get new shoes before they come to Europe because they're like, oh, I'm going to walk a lot, so I need to make sure I have good walking shoes. You better make sure you have broken those shoes in before you come, because nobody wants blisters and stuff when you're going to be walking that much, all right? So
see, that's something I kind of think of when I think of it, because it is much more of a walking society than what we have over here. But not a lot of people would think about that. So that's actually such a solid point. I just recently went and purchased me a new pair of shoes, and just because I work on a lot of concrete, or not in concrete, but the area I walk in is a lot of concrete, and just the difference in that in general, let alone walking on beautiful old city streets like that. So that's just a solid thing. I didn't think about that until he brought it up. So that's a pretty good point. Sorry for the random cut there. I had to go let the dog outside. He decided to start barking.
Painful feet, another part of doing it. But the thing is I'm going through these bad things, like sprained ankles and hurt feet and weird pooping, but also there's the good physical effects of going to Europe is you might notice your belt and your pants
go.
fit a little bit better. Yes, with all that walking and more of the, I would say, healthier food options. I'm sure some of you do healthy food all the time, blah, blah, blah. But I'm getting honest with you, with all that walking, all that movement, you know, you're not
Spot on.
snacking as much because you're seeing things. You might notice that your waistline gets a little bit thinner while you're here. You're like, oh, I'm a bit more European, can't you tell? Because I'm so much more fit and trim now. I mean, it sounds silly, but I
love
can't tell you
Walter's
how
World. He's
many
so
of our
good.
fans have written us, Mark, I just spent 2 weeks in Europe and I lost 10 pounds. I mean, it happens because of all that exercise. So there are some good physical things that are out there. And also, if we think about mental benefits as well that hit you, is I find that Americans really enjoy the fact that when they come to Europe, they get a chance to actually mentally relax. Because it takes longer to eat here. You're not like going to a restaurant, they're forcing the food down, getting your order right away, giving your food right away. Okay, get out of here right away. You get to take time and relax and do things. It's much more calmer life, and so therefore it's a little bit easier to relax. That's why I tell people, if you're stressed out, you want to go on vacation, don't go to Orlando, don't go to New York City. You're going to be even more stressed out. Come to Europe. Take your time when you're here, because
Never thought about that. I never thought about that. I mean, everybody gets burnt out at work. Everybody, you know, gets stressed out with whatever they do. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Mental health is a real thing. So I never thought about just slowing down. You know what I mean? Just slowing down and relaxing while you're on vacation. Instead of going to the beach here in the States or, you know, to the mountain, Rocky Mountains or something. Just go. I never thought about that.
they're going to force you to take your time because they're not going to be in a hurry as well. So if you can get past the frustration of slowness, then it really is a lot easier to relax here. And that can be very helpful because all those longer meals and longer walks, calmer evenings, really can actually help sleep even better. I mean, once you get past that jet lag at the beginning, then you sleep
Sure.
really good when you are here with all that. So that's nice. Another kind of mental struggle I think Americans have that they maybe don't say anything about right away, but they notice when they're there, is just the struggle with personal space. Like in the US, we like our big bubble, but some places in Europe, you're literally this close to people all the time. And that's one of the things that sometimes mentally some Americans have a really tough time with. So just be ready for that when you're on public transportation,
Interesting.
you're going to museums. Heck, when you're sitting at restaurants and they're all so close together, like how do they sit at these little tiny tables and 4 people are eating there? They find a way. And that's one of those things. You have to realize you're not going to have a lot of personal space when you're here. And I know for some people that's a mental thing that really is tough. So if you are having a tough time, you are getting overwhelmed, like here in Genoa, they have the Corugi, these little
Yeah, I don't know if I would call that tough for me. I mean, I do like a little bit of space when I'm trying to eat. But that's because I'm always like, you know, when I'm trying to cut a steak, I'm always flinging my elbows around. And like, you know, when we used to go out as a family and stuff, my dad's left-handed, I'm right-handed. We could never sit beside each other. Because I'd always have to sit over here inside. He was have to sit on the end, and we just sit there and elbow each other all the time. So I like a little bit of space, but that probably wouldn't bother me too awful much, the tighter quarters right there.
pathways, these little tiny maze-like streets you go to. And some people get very claustrophobic and kind of freak out because in the U.S. we're used to those big open spaces, right? 3-car garages, da da da. Here they name a garage. Go and find a big piazza where there's plenty of space. Go find a park where you can kind of get some space. That's going to help you out mentally to kind of like, okay, I'm doing better. Because when you're getting overwhelmed with all the tourists in Munich, go to the Englischer Garden and get away from it all. Another mental effect I see hit people is museum burnout. And the thing is, when you come to Europe, you're so excited. I'm going to see all these churches and squares and museums and towns and stuff. But after a while, it's like sometimes it feels like the towns blur together. Like, oh, we saw the church, the museum, and the square, and the town hall. Church, museum, square, town hall. Church, museum, square, town hall. And it just starts going by. And then you're trying to remember. You remember that one church that had that altar? It gets hard sometimes, and there's actually a mental thing with it where you get kind of burned out. So to try to fight off that kind of museum burnout, what I recommend is find different activities to do. Don't just do the museum, church, square, museum, church, square.
Yeah,
Do
that's
a
fair.
cooking class, do an art class. I know Jocelyn and Caleb, they literally were painting Notre Dame on the Seine for a thing. Liam and I, we were making macarons together. You go places, you take these classes, it helps kind of change up your
That's
mental
fair. Yeah,
attitude.
I mean,
We were in Sevilla, we went to Isla Magica, the amusement park there, just to give our brains kind of a reset so we didn't have that burnout of, another museum and square, another church, because it does happen. And that's not just American tourists. That happens to a lot of tourists when you travel around. And if I think about burnout, I think there's one, if you're someone that doesn't usually speak foreign languages, but you're trying to speak it, like I'm here in Italy, I speak Italian, and I don't get a chance to speak Italian back in the US. So I'm really like, I want to speak Italian, so I'm speaking Italian to everybody. But by the end of the day, the mental burnout from speaking Italian so much after having not spoken for like a year, it really does hit you. Like, it sounds silly, but that's one of those things when you're speaking a foreign language you're not used to.
See, that doesn't sound silly to me because I would like to learn languages. I'm slightly learning Japanese. I'm gonna start taking some German. But in my head, I'm like, if I ever get a chance to go over there, am I actually going to use this? Because I'd walk up to somebody and be like, and then just like panic and like, oh man, I got to say it properly. I got to say it properly. Or are they going to understand? Or will they appreciate the fact I'm trying to speak their language? Or are they just going to be like, dude, just speak English because most of us speak a lot of English as it is. You know, so I could see that being a mental burnout on you right there.
And wear you down, so just be aware of that. If you're like, oh man, I'm using my Spanish in Spain, but why am I so tired mentally? Well, it's because you're using parts of your brain you haven't used for a while. Now feeling worn out from the speaking, the mental side of it, but there's also like the physical worn outness because you're walking so much, you're doing so, you're carrying those bags, you have so many more stairs you're going up to, no elevator, and I got up 5 floors with my suitcases. That kind of physical wearing you out does happen too, and you want to be careful because if you burn yourself out, you wear yourself out, you become more liable to get sick. And a lot of people, they go on vacation, they're doing so much and they burn themselves out and then they get sick. The last half of their vacation, they're sitting there coughing, hacking, feeling horrible instead of enjoying their vacation.
I never thought about that.
Make sure you give yourself some time so you don't get worn out. Because it's
again, that's something I think about here. You know, I mean, if I don't get a lot of sleep for a couple of days, and then I get really busy at work, and I'm doing a lot of things and taking, you know, just if I get really busy, sometimes I feel a little under the weather. I don't think about that when you're on vacation. You're on vacation. You're here to have fun. That's
not just jet lag that makes you tired from travel. Now, couple specific physical ailments or physical things that you should really think about when you're traveling that might not relate to you, but it might relate to some people. One, chafing. If you're a huskier traveler like myself, you might notice if you're walking a lot in the summer and you don't have the right clothes on and it's kind of hot, you might notice a little friction between the legs or in the armpits, and chafing really can become an issue. So I do recommend if you've ever had chafing or you're a heavy traveler or you walk really close with your legs together, you don't want to start a fire, bring like Gold Bond or some kind of cream or powder to help with the chafing, because if you get chafed in the middle, all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're walking like this everywhere around Europe. You look a little silly and you can't get anywhere very fast. And it's really, really painful. So be aware of that one because that's one that does pop up in the Husky Traveler Forum. So saying that, see, it's not for all of you, just for some of us, okay? And then I want to talk about something for our female travelers, and that is your cycle. When you travel abroad, when you do long distance travel, sometimes your cycle could be interrupted or kind of knocked out of cycle. And so therefore you may think, oh, well, I'm not supposed to have my period during this 2-week vacation, so I'm okay. You never know. It might actually kick it in earlier, or you might miss your period entirely and come home thinking you're pregnant. Believe me, we have had that going to Walgreens at midnight to see if it's if the baby's coming or not kind of thing. So do be aware of that. So if you're going to be coming, make sure you're bringing your tampons, pads.
Obviously, that's not something I would have to look up, but that's something I never knew existed, never even thought about existing. I mean, why would anybody think that would exist? So that's interesting.
Whatever you use, make sure you have that with you, because yes, you can find it here, but have you ever in your entire life, no matter where you are in the world, when you needed a tampon or you needed a pad, was there a place right next door, right ready with the exact one you wanted? Of course not. So it's best to have those extra with you. I know Jocelyn brings her stuff every single time just in case, so it's something to be aware of, all right? So these are just a few of the physical and mental ailments that Americans, well, actually, let's be honest, all travelers have to deal with when they come here, but I thought it'd be funny to pick on my American friends. Naturally. Because honestly, we are pretty not used to walking this much. Anyway, what are some of the other physical ailments you see hit travelers when they travel? Let us know in the comments below, and I wish you all the best, and I'll say ciao from here in Genoa, Italy.
I love Wolters World. He's so good. I mean, he is so good at what he does. He's one of my favorite ones we've ever been able to utilize on here and to react to and just watch. So, as always, thank you, Mark is his actual name. So thank you, Mark. Wonderful video. How much of this, makes sense to you guys in Europe that, you get to live this kind of life all the time? Because I'm in a small town here. You know what I mean? I drive 15 minutes to work. I drive 15 minutes back home. I take 8 to 10,000 steps in work, which is probably the size of, I don't know, an average apartment maybe overseas. Like, I don't have a very big workspace, but I'm just constantly moving back and forth. So I thoroughly enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys did as well. And if you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Share this video with all your friends, and just let me know other ways, other ideas, or other, you know, bullet points, as you would call them, as to what he can improve on, or not improve on, but what he could, what you could add on to what he was saying. So, you know, yeah. Anyway, thanks guys for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.